Hi, good afternoon. Here we are on July 7th, second day of week 3 already. So, grades are due at the end of the week, and I have to give you a letter grade. So make sure you get done as much as you possibly can between now and tomorrow, actually, because grade window opens tomorrow. So get as much done as you can that was due by July 5th. If it was due by July 5th, then I'm going to put it in the grade book. All right. So work on that stuff. But today, our specific things are there are assignments in the folder, this folder that we're going to open in a minute, for Common Lit and Read Theory. You can do this, remember. Our learning objective today is students will read at their Lexile level. That's what you'll do in both Common Lit and Read Theory. And the reason that you're doing that is to improve your vocabulary and determine meaning of words used in context, including the figurative and connotative meanings. I think it should say actually the denotative and connotative meanings. Denotative is the dictionary definition of the word, and connotative is the emotional response to the word. Figurative language is different. Figurative language, and I think I explain it here. We'll get to that in a sec. Figurative language is all the fancy language that's used. The hyperbole, similes, metaphors, all of that kind of stuff that helps make the reading come alive. All right. So today we're focusing more on denotative and connotative meanings. So I am actually going to change that right now. Edit. And including the denotative. Okay, and then I'm going to say denotative is the dictionary definition of the word. For example, if someone weighs 400 pounds, they are an overweight person. You could say they're overweight. It's a dictionary definition. They weigh more than they should. The connotative has an emotional appeal, includes an emotion with the word. If you called them a big fatso, that's a negative appeal. That's a negative connotation. That's a negative emotion. If you say unhealthy, maybe it's not so negative, right? So that's what we're looking at, and it'll come alive when we go through the practice. So that's our learning objective. That's our explanation. The language objective, students will improve vocabulary by reading words and text. So everyone needs to be doing that as well. Our reading standard it's very similar to the learning objective. I'm not going to read it all, but it's, for example, how language evokes a sense of time and place, how it sets a formal or informal tone, the figurative and connotative meanings, the impact of the words. And we're looking specifically at the emotional impact of the words. Okay. So going to our folder, you have the read theory. 2 more. Keep up with those. They're so good for you. It's so important to keep improving your reading level. If you're not reading at grade level, the more you do read theory, the better it'll be. So you'll just keep getting better. And it focuses on comprehension. It focuses on understanding of theme and central idea and vocabulary, all things you need to know. So the read theories are really great. And you can do them on your own time, of course. If you don't feel like doing them when you first wake up, don't do them. If you feel like doing them at 4 o'clock, do them then. If you wake up at 2 in the morning and you feel like getting some work done, do it then. Okay, here's our check-in for July 7th. So for the check-in here, tell me 2 things or more you would change about going to school from home. So you've been going to school from home since March. We finished last semester. You're going through the summer. What would make this process better? And so instead of a sentence, today we're doing a bulleted list. Things I would change about distance learning. 3 things. Maybe more interactive group work on Schoology so that you break up into groups when we have these conferences. That's something we can do. More choices that you could do for assignments. More time. more independent time with the teacher, all things. These are just suggestions. Whatever works for you. What do you think would make this process better for you? Okay. So that's the check-in. And then we have our practice. We're going to practice a little bit on this denotation and connotation. Okay, so let's open this. Here's the link. We're going to go right to the link. And it's a quiz, which you may be familiar with. So this is good to know for anything. Let's say you're going to have a world history quiz on the Roman Empire. There's probably a quiz on here that maybe will help you understand it. The more you look at something, the more you're able to understand it. And you might have to look at it in all different forms. So here's one. And I know that there are more connotation and denotation quizzes on here. Okay. So let's do this together, a few of them. So denotation is a words, and I just told you, dictionary definition. Literal dictionary definition of the word. Show answer. So we said that one, and I'm going to say show answer. Literal dictionary definition of the word. What does the word mean? Okay, let's go to the next one. Connotation. For some reason, people always get hung up on this word. Every single year, no matter how many times I teach it, someone asks, what does connotation mean? So just try to learn it, and then you'll be done. So connotation does not mean synonym. Synonym is when words have the same meaning. It does not mean antonym when words have opposite meanings. It has emotional meaning. That's the answer, emotional meaning. Okay, so I am actually going to go do this a little differently. I want to go back to this. Here we go. So it doesn't show you the answers. Okay, question 3. The word thin, as in you are very thin, has a, what do you think, a negative or a positive connotation? Is it being mean to someone, or is it being nice? I'm going to say positive. Let's show the answer. Positive. It's nice to say someone's thin. If it says, if you say they're skeleton-like or bulimic looking or something, that's a negative answer, right? Okay, I think if we go to the next one, it won't show the answer. Perfect. The word scrawny, which you might not know what that means, as in Jason appeared scrawny, has a, I'm going to tell you, a negative connotation. It means like not a lot of muscles, just very negative. Maybe no muscles, just doesn't look very good. Scrawny. Referring to someone's house as a shack would have a, like he lives in a real shack. Very negative, right? Negative connotation. Okay, let's do a couple more. We'll do 10. I recognize the familiar smell of my roommate's cooking. So we don't know yet if it's good or bad. If you change the word smell to stench, the word now has a negative connotation, right? Oops, sorry. I already showed you. Negative connotation. If you said aroma, I recognize the familiar aroma of my roommate's cooking. That might be a positive connotation. It sounds like it smells good. McDonald's is an inexpensive meal. If you change the word inexpensive to cheap, the word now has negative connotation, right? It's negative. It doesn't sound very good if something's cheap. If you buy a necklace and it looks cheap, it might look inexpensive, but it also doesn't look very nice. Kevin's interest in model cars has turned into a hobby. If you change the word hobby to obsession, someone's obsessed with something, it's not good, right? That's a negative connotation. The teacher was mildly intimidated by Merdine's bossy behavior. If you change the word bossy to assertive, the word now has a positive connotation. Positive. Bossy doesn't sound very nice. You don't want to be bossy, but if you're assertive, you're just doing what you need to do, and that's a good thing. It's very difficult to make a difference, but that's the being assertive is positive. So I'm going to hide the answer for the next one. Choose the word with the most positive connotation. Gathering or mob? Positive would be gathering, right? Okay. So we did 10 of those. There are 30, I believe. So what I want you to do on your own is to continue with the next, that didn't take very long, next 30, next 20. And some of them look duplicative. That's all right. It'll be good. And then tomorrow, I'm going to put up a quiz that you'll have a quiz on positive and negative connotation of words. And you'll need to know what the word connotation means. I'll tell you that. That's going to be on the quiz. So that's that. Okay, let's go back to Schoology. And I am going to go to Common Lit. So this is the story we went over yesterday. Hopefully you took notes. And frankly, I can tell when you take notes. So remember, you have the read aloud. You can have the story read aloud to you. You can have it translated as you go. So if you want it translated into Spanish, you just click this little button here, and then it's translated on the side. There you go. Okay. And then the note taking. I've modeled how to take notes a couple of times now. I want you to take notes. I want you to annotate the readings. I think it's extremely important to understanding and getting a deeper understanding of the material. So I want you to take notes and highlight. And here it always tells you what you're supposed to be thinking about. For this particular one, it says, as you read, take notes on Matt's actions when he realizes a tornado is coming. Okay. And then we have read theory, which you guys have to just keep going and going and going on. So I don't think there's any reason to go to read theory because you're all in different places, but make sure you keep getting those read theories done. And then, as I said, grades are due starting tomorrow. Your report cards will be mailed out next Monday. So get those grades up. Get everything done until July 5th. And then you will have a pretty darn good grade. All right? So that is the first year's week 2 materials and assignments. So it's all of this, and it's all of this. It's only 2 weeks. It'll be fine. Okay? And at this point, I'm going to stop the video, and then I can talk to you about any questions or anything that you might need help with. So that's where we are for today. Thank you.